Step 6 on this recruiting journey is going to be get started right. Well, what is that? You have somebody sign up, and then what do? You're excited, and they're excited, but then you're nervous, and they're nervous.
They're nervous.
You need to set up expectations. You need to
teach them some things.
And so there's onboarding, and that's the first step. And then the second step is launch, and we'll go into that in a minute. But onboarding, I think this is so awesome.
Yeah, because what do they expect? They don't have any idea what to do. And what launch is getting them into the business and teaching them how to really run the business. So this part is onboarding, and we're gonna walk through that and give you some ideas about that. Step number one is congratulate them. You get that email from Paparazzi. It says, congratulations, you have a new consultant on your team. Call them. The first 24 hours is crucial because it's like they're so excited, but they don't know what to do. So give them a phone call. Of course, if you can't get a message, this is what I do. I call them, but they don't know your number, so they're not going to answer. So text them and then message them on Facebook. Or send them an email, because you have that information, the email and the phone number, but get a hold of them. Let them know you're excited. You validate them that they made a great decision, because they're kind of scared too. They're like, oh, I just signed up for Paparazzi. What am I going to do? So do it. Get a hold of them. You're their sponsor, and just love them.
So once you get a hold of them, this is something that I think is huge. It's crucial. It's the conversation. So number 2 is the crucial conversation. And what that is you are just going to let them know you're there for them. Yes. You're their biggest cheerleader. You are there to help them. You're there to support them. You want to see them succeed. You want to see them grow.
Yes.
But it's just like when you have a child, you need to kick them out of the nest sometimes.
I had to do that to her. She lived with us a long time. Come on, it's just your turn to do
You
your
want
own.
to stay in that nest. It's kind of scary.
It's comfortable.
But you want them to just jump leaps and bounds. And so you let them know that. You're here for them. You love them. But you want them to become independent of you. And so you ask them that. Here, I would like to help you get to the point where you're independent. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
And ask them what they think about that, where, of course, everybody wants to be independent. And then once you talk to them about that, then you are going to ask them, how long do you want it to take? So
how long do you want me to be the mother over you?
So fun. There's days that you love them. There's days that
she doesn't want me telling her what to do sometimes.
But this is where it's great, because you're setting boundaries, you're setting expectations, and you are just understanding each other. So then once you find out, you may get 3 months, you might get 6 months, you might get a year.
They might say to you, I only need you for 3 months.
You never know. We don't want them here for 18 years.
Yeah.
We really do.
We do. We love them.
But you just want to figure out, and you're just kind of just feeling the water out. And then once you figure out what the timeline is, again, let that be their decision. Let them tell you what you want, what they want, and then you validate them. You say, okay, this is great, and then you go to the next thing.
Step number 3 is, how are we going to get you there? I am here to help you build your team. Just like with Brittany, she's my daughter and I love her and I want her to be around, but she doesn't want me making her decisions and telling her how to run her life. So we are here to help you grow your business. We have the 90-day success plan. There's 3 parts of that. Number 1 is selling. The selling course is an 8-day course. Teaches you how to sell, how to go live on Facebook, how to order. How do you do that? If you're brand new, you need to learn some of those things. You don't have to worry about all these technical things. Oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to teach them? We got it for you. It has a workbook. It's awesome. Then we have this recruiting course that has the workbook also. It gives you all these different steps of what to do to get a new person to join your team. Then we have a lead course that's coming out pretty soon. It's duplication. It's how to teach them to be you, to run a team. And we're so excited for that to come. Do you know, if you really want to be successful in building a team, it's so important. The main things are being coachable, willing, and hungry. There's 3 traits to help you to be so successful. Those are willing, coachable, and hungry. Are you willing to listen to some things that I have to tell you. If I give you an assignment, are you really willing? Are you going to do it? Are you coachable? Maybe you think, oh, I should go live every night at midnight. And I think perhaps that's not really true because I've had a little bit of experience. Are you coachable about that? Are you hungry? Are you really passionate about this business? When I first started Paparazzi, I was very hungry. Literally, we needed money to eat. But you know what? I love paparazzi so much. It's just my life. So this is going to change. This is going to help you just go fast and do fabulous in your business.
Step 4 in this getting started presentation are the 4 things we do. So what are they? Well, number 1 is sell. Number 2 is recruit. Number 3 is duplicate. And number 4 is lead. So when you're looking at these, I want to break them up into like 2 different things that like 2 of them are like kind of like a job and the other 2 are like having a business. So if you were to go and work, I don't know, at like McDonald's, well, if you don't show up and punch in that time clock, you're not going to get paid. Well, that's kind of the same thing. When you sell, you are making money, and you don't make money if you don't go to that event, or it's instant money, which is amazing. And I've made some really, really good money selling. And so this is really, really awesome. But you're trading time for money. And that's kind of the same as recruiting, where you recruit somebody and yeah, you make money right there, but you're also trading time for money, because once you get into number 3, the duplication, that's when it starts turning into a business. And when you have a business, this is something that it is going to be working and it's going to be running, that if you're asleep, you're on vacation, you're still making money. And that's the same thing with leading. So I want to kind of use the example of, say that you go and buy a plant, okay? Where me, love tomatoes, and I always go get a tomato plant, and it's just, they're so good. So you take that plant and you put it in the ground, okay? Well, you're so excited about it and you put fertilizer around it and you love on it and it starts to grow fruit. Well, that's awesome, but don't you want like a drip system in there? Do you want to go out every single day and water it? That's like duplicating, because it's going to automatically go on. And so we have these systems for you so you can have that duplication system there. And, or like I teach my daughter to go and I teach her how to plant a plant. So that is also that duplication. You get a new team member. I have my daughter, I taught her how to plant that plant, and then she tells her friend, and her friend goes and plants that plant. So you're creating this duplication system. And then I am here that I get to love my daughter, and I get to say, here, you planted this plant. Did you do this? Did you do this? And just making sure that she's staying on top of that. Where to me, I just planted 1 or 2 plants and I'm only worried about that. But when I'm looking at my garden overall, I've got this huge garden that is running itself because I've got that sprinkler system, that drip system in there that's just going and it's watering it every single day. I've got other people watching their plants, but overall, I've got all these awesome fruits that are coming out of it.
Step number 5 is setting their expectations. You know, they're brand new. Remember when you were brand new? What do they expect? They don't know what to expect. Are they going to make $1 million or no dollars? So it's up to you. It's up to me to help you understand how to help them understand what they can make. Now, of course, when they sell their jewelry, they can make immediate money. That just comes really quickly. But in building a team, sometimes that takes a little bit of time. We kind of have a little rule of thumb that's like 1, 3, 5, and 7. So usually within the first year, they build their confidence, their profitability. Up to year 3, they might become full-time. We're hoping that by then they can quit their job and just be a full-time paparazzi lover of the world, the fashion consultant. By year 5, they could be making 6, up to that, even sooner maybe, but up to 5, within 5 years, they could be making 6-figure income. That's over $100,000 in a year. And up to year 7, they could be even making 7 figures. We call them the world class, the awesome consultants. Now in paparazzi, this happens much quicker. You and I both know that. A lot of people, it doesn't take them 3 years to get full-time or to become bling boss. That happens much more quickly, but it's up to them. Are they part-time? Are they going to be full-time? Doesn't matter, but help them understand that expectation. They're going to have ups and downs. Now, set that expectation with them when they are down, because you know that when you're up and you're going, and sometimes it crashes, and then it goes up, and then it crashes. When they get to the point where they're kind of not showing up, what should you do? If you work that out at the first, it's really easy. You're not bugging them if they're not out there working and you give them a call. They don't feel like you're breathing down their neck or criticizing them. Set that expectation of what to do when they don't show up. You know, success takes time. It takes time to build that skill, to the focus. They might have that passion right off the first because jewelry is so fun. With me, I just needed to eat, so I needed money really fast. I loved the jewelry. I had that passion really fast. But to start to build a team, that took me a little bit of time. I had to gain a few skills to get there. When you set the expectation that they are going to make some money, they might not be making tons of money to start with, or they might be making way more money than they ever expect. Help them to realize however much time they put in, they will get a return on that. Now, again, if they're selling, they can make a lot of money in just a short period of time if that's what they choose. But we're talking here about building a team. Help them to understand there's no right, wrong, good or bad. It's all just learning. It's all just information. We want them to start to learn to think like an entrepreneur, to be a business owner.
The sixth step is build an unshakable belief. So how do you do this? What is that? Well, I want you to build a belief in paparazzi that it's there, just like, you know, to put on your pants. You don't even think about it. You just put one leg in and you put the other leg in. So for you to do this, I want you to go watch the opportunity presentation that we have put out there. If you've already seen it, go watch it again and again. Familiarize yourself with this. So, and when you're going through it, there's those 5 key things that we talked about. 1 is the product. 2 is the company. 3 is the comp plan. 4 is the support. And 5 is the systems. There are so many great things in here that it's just going to make it just easier and easier. The more you listen to it, the more you review it, and you're just going to jump with that. The next thing that I want to talk about is network marketing. Just in general, it is amazing where I know it's not perfect, but it is better. And something that we found a statistic once that did you know that 80% of women in the US that are making over $100,000 a year, they're in network marketing? Like, this is what I want for you. The possibilities are endless. So as you're going through this, it's just thinking about how awesome these things are. And then when you are, when you talk to somebody or yourself, like, what do you hear them say? Like me, I love what I do. I genuinely love it. And I want everybody to say that about what they do. But when you talk to somebody that they say, oh, I don't like what I do, or even you, it's like, well, what don't you like about it? Well, I want to be my own boss. I want to make my own hours. I want to have my own schedule. Well, that is so possible in this business that you can do all those things. You can make your dreams come true. So when you are talking to somebody, you also want to tell them about you and yourself and why it is important that they made that decision for them to join with you when you're going through all these steps. And so for me, like, I would say, hey, I am so happy that you're here. This is such a great decision. I'm here for you. I've got all these awesome programs and these steps and challenges. Like, you're just gonna rock it. And just tell them why this is such a great decision that they just made and why it's wonderful that they chose you. Then the next thing is you're gonna empower them. So even if you're giving them a compliment, you're going to empower them. You tell them that you know they're going to be amazing, that they are going to go places, that you see so much potential in them. Even if they don't see it in themselves, this is something that you need to see that in them. You need to see that they're going to be amazing, because if they believe it or if they don't, They need somebody to believe in them, and that is your job. You love them. You cultivate that, like I talked about earlier, that plant. By you giving it love and you giving them all of that, the soil and the fertilizer and stuff like that, they are just going to grow and they're going to bloom. And so you just empower them, tell them they're amazing, and just keep giving them those affirmations.
Step number 7 is help them understand how important it is to get connected. Get them on Facebook groups. Make sure that they see the emails from paparazzi. Get them to watch the Paparazzi Accessories Facebook group and your group and their group and everybody's group. Let's get connected. If the convention is out there, come to convention, because I know, it's so much better to be able to hug in person. That's just so amazing. Help them from the very first to just assume that they're successful. I'm going to be successful. It doesn't matter. What you say becomes. What you think about becomes. So help them to always know they're going to be successful. It's an ongoing commitment. Help them to keep going, to be committed. If they decide they're going to be successful, they will continue. Help them to understand how much product they should get. Maybe they only started with 35 pieces. Maybe they started with 200 pieces. It doesn't matter. When we started, we were doing shows. We weren't on Facebook. Brittany and I, we had to haul our jewelry into these trade shows. We needed thousands of pieces. Well, if you're going to just go live a couple of times a week, you might only need 100 pieces. Teach them, help them to learn how to build their inventory, the importance of that. If you don't have pieces to sell, you're not going to make money selling. Teach them to be a product of the product. Now, if you're selling paparazzi, if you are a fashion consultant, they need to wear those dynamite earrings. Maybe I don't like to wear jewelry that much, just something simple. That's great. Paparazzi has every style of woman. They can wear that simple necklace, that simple little earrings, but they need to be a product of the product. Lastly, make sure they understand how important it is for their story. Help them to learn their story. Everybody has a story, a why, a reason that they started. Did they see the jewelry and really like it and just wanted it wholesale? Did they need a few extra bucks just to buy Christmas gifts? What is their reason for starting? We've taught you how to tell your story, so help them start to write their story or get practiced with their story. Help them to learn to talk to other people. They might ask you how you did it, or help them understand how to tell another person how they did it. The experience stories are the best. If I hear someone tell a story about something that they did, you grow connected to them. You learn to trust them. You get an emotional bond there, and that's really important. Stories are a fabulous way of teaching. This is just the end of our onboarding, just teaching them how to do this. Stay tuned, because we're going to jump into the launch next. This is so awesome to get your new recruits going. Just learn to love them and help them understand that they are loved. And best of all, remember to love your life.